GMC S-15. It has good looks. It has style. It has dash. But it's so much more than just a good-looking truck. It has value. You can see it in the paint, and you can see it in the fit. You can even hear it. It's a new generation pickup built with new generation engineering and old-fashioned attention to detail. Quality is attention to detail that you might not think about, but you'll be glad GMC did. It's the instrument panel that's attractive, yet logically laid out. Look around. The cab is designed for impressive visibility for the driver. Ventilation ports are located in the door. They exhaust air, which is steadily supplied by the cab's flow-through ventilation system. Test drive an S-15, and you might even notice that something is missing. A lot of unwanted wind noise. That's because the doors are doubly sealed. And that brings up something else you'll like to know. At GMC, we're hard-nosed when it comes to quality. So you'll find some of the latest available technology being used in building this smart, new workhorse. That means automation, and electronics, and robotics. It also means using human resources sensibly. A well-trained, dedicated workforce that joins in the commitment to offer a high-quality, small pickup that Americans would buy and be satisfied with. At GMC, we're proud of what goes into each and every S-15. The story begins with high-quality, well-designed materials and components used to build the S-15. From the rust-resistant wax-dipped frame to the galvanized sheet metal and lightweight window glass, the S-15 undergoes the watchful eyes of quality control inspectors. If a part doesn't meet specifications, it is replaced by a new part. Special care is taken in handling small components to help prevent them from getting chipped or dented. Small parts like battery trays and fender skirts are ELPO dipped to help fight corrosion. Large body parts, such as box side and floor panels, are designed to go together only one way. That means when the truck comes off the line, every body seam fits with an allowable maximum of only 2 millimeters from a perfect fit. 2 millimeters is about the thickness of a pencil lead. With high-quality parts and net build components as a starting point, the S-15 is ready to take to the road in about 2 days production time. In simultaneous operations on separate lines, the cab and box are put together. Both the cab and box assembly are made of a few large pieces for structural rigidity and integrity. The cab begins here in the body shop, where the floor pan meets the firewall, and they are welded. The door rings are positioned and welded to the cab. A separate piece, which ultimately holds the windshield, is then aligned and welded. In a separate operation, but still with the accuracy of automatic welders, the door hinges are secured in place, and the double wall construction of the door panel is welded together. The door panels subsequently are attached to the single-piece door frames. Single-piece construction for a tight closing door and good window alignment. A stop at the welding line puts the finishing touches on this portion of the cab. Next, the cab back and top are tack welded onto the assembly. And after some bracketry has been added, it's off once more for some final welds. The welding is swift, accurate, reliable, and also fun to watch. While the welders finish up the cab, the box is taking shape. The box is assembled out of a few large pieces instead of many small pieces. That's for integrity and a reduced chance for corrosion and squeaks. The construction involves a tab and slot principle. So, when the tabs of some pieces are inserted into the slots of others, the entire assembly is almost automatically properly aligned. Next, it moves to a welding station, where powerful electromagnets clamp it securely in place. The assembly is then automatically welded and released. The automatic welders are a story in themselves. They are programmed to weld each truck in the same way for consistency, with a weld temperature that is monitored and controlled for precision. As remarkable as they are, they can't do everything. Some areas receive the tender, loving care of a robot. Their articulated welding heads are capable of reaching into tight spots, making the welds, and to do it unvaryingly all day. After the tailgate is attached, the box is joined with the cab on the conveyor. The doors are added, and then a random selection of the cab and box assemblies are taken out of the assembly line and subjected to the cold eye of PIPS. That stands for Product in Process Simulator. PIPS is like a giant automatic micrometer. It checks the dimensions of the cab and box and tells the operator whether the assembly can go on to the next step or if it should be recycled for corrective actions. It's a very involved process. The parts are checked individually before and during assembly, and then all checked together afterwards. It helps provide accuracy that can help give you confidence. The S-15's electrical system is put through a similar system of repeat checks. There is electronic equipment that checks 21 electronic circuits in the S-15. First, a part, like a switch, is checked before assembly. Then after, when it's connected to its wiring harness, it's checked again. Once the S-15 is fully assembled, another check is done to help ensure that all components work like we want them to. That's what quality is all about. And it begins before the S-15 even goes on the assembly line. The metals that make up the body are specially treated to resist corrosion. Much of the exterior steel on the S-15 is actually made of zinc metal, which is sheet steel coated on one side with a special zinc-rich paint primer. It gives the metal a kind of armor to help resist corrosion. Other body and structural members are made of one- or two-sided galvanized steel, which is also sheet steel, but it's passed through a tank of molten zinc. The heat of the molten zinc metallurgically bonds it to the steel. After the body is assembled, the body is metal finished. Before priming paint is applied, the body passes through an 8-stage phosphate and zinc washer system. This prepares the surface for the primer coat. The S-15's body is put through a process called the cathodic ELPO dip prime system. This system is like painting with electricity. The body is given a negative electrical charge and then submerged in a positively charged paint solution. It's almost like electroplating, but with paint. The result is a uniform coating of primer that reaches into obscure crevices and seams. Next, all exterior surfaces receive another coating of primer, and only then is the finish coat of high-gloss acrylic enamel applied and baked on. The result of all this paint gives the sheet metal a protective coat that's approximately 0.8 of a millimeter thick. After painting, the last assembly phase is attaching the body to the chassis. Here, body and chassis glide together smoothly and are then bolted in this unique conveyor system to help prevent damage that can result when the body is lowered onto the chassis. Finally, the hood and front fenders are secured, and the S-15 is ready to run the gauntlet of stringent final tests that include the leak test, Every cab is put through this high-pressure shower of water to check the cab's ability to keep the elements on the outside and you dry on the inside. Of course, these checks are just the culmination of continuous, meticulous online testing. For every check, there's a recheck procedure under the subjective eyes of plant workers who have the final say. The two finesse lines move about half the speed of the assembly line. Here, the entire drive line is tested. And under the glare of intense lights, the paint is checked, and the trim, body, and interior are examined for flaws. Workers on the finesse line are specifically trained to be nitpickers. They know that in the final product, details are often the most important things in the customer's eye. It takes good people to build a good truck. The judgment of a trained worker can never be replaced by a robot, a computer, or an electronic testing system. Keen, subjective eyes look over the building of the S-15. In every department, there's a quality alert system button. It's like a panic button for quality. If a worker spots a problem and pushes the button, help is soon there to solve the problem. The assembly plant itself is designed for a reasonable degree of worker comfort. The assembly line comes to the worker, instead of the worker having to go out of his or her way to do the job. Sometimes the job moves up or down to a convenient working height, and sometimes the entire assembly flips over for easier access. All employees have completed an intensive 2-day meeting with follow-up seminars to learn new skills and to enlist their dedication to the quality of the S-15. And quality is guarded after assembly. Before being transported to your GMC dealership, S-15s get measures to help protect them from many common types of shipping damage. Seats are protected by shrink-wrap plastic. Door panels and floors are also protected. Door edge guards protect the bodies of other S-15s, and bumper protectors help protect them in transit. The techniques and equipment used in the S-15's design and assembly are a lot more than just theory. They're highly sophisticated and now widely recognized throughout the engineering community. They've been developed and tested in both laboratory and actual road conditions. And every single one of them is aimed at earning your confidence in how the S-15 is built.